Hello?
Todd, can you, I don't think anybody's gonna be coming up to sit. Can you ditch that chair for us?
I had planned on
there.
Well,
this one.
excuse me.
Just follow the wording.
Yes.
So I'll just follow those. About 1 minute. Is ready? All right, we're gonna get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, for the sake of trying to stay organized here, I'm gonna do roll call for the Plan Commission and then maybe Mark can do roll call for the BZA.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Um, okay, Dale.
Here.
Christina.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Gwen.
Here.
I think she said it, but she.
Okay, I think she can hear us. Gwen, can you
Yes.
hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear her a little bit. We get that. Welcome.
Hear yet?
Yes, I can hear you.
There you go.
We can hear you now.
I didn't hear it.
Kenny here,
Oh.
Mike here, Nathan,
Here.
Yes,
I'm here.
we can hear you now. I can hear. Kenny here. Oh, we got
Mike
a.
is gonna do-
Nathan?
They can get our meeting by Zoom.
Okay, so Nathan,
And we, they can vote.
Amber?
No, they can't.
John, okay, I think that concludes everybody. Do you want to do quorum?
Myself here, Mark Allen, I'm here, you didn't know my name. Kenny,
Mike?
Yes. And then Gene, I don't know.
I didn't hear you call my name.
That's the only three. I thought that was the only three.
So we may have to turn this down.
They may have to call in on the phone and turn that volume down.
We had this before, but I don't remember how we fixed it.
We had the same problem a couple of times.
Yeah, that switches off.
Maybe. That made a difference.
I'm just the advocate for.
But now I hear them when they speak.
Yeah, can they hear us? I can't hear them now.
That your homes, the people keep them.
There's a part of the one.
That's one of them to speak. But now I hear them when they speak.
Yeah, can they hear it?
I can hear it. Go to YouTube and turn it on.
I can hear you guys.
Oh, that's better.
Nathan, can you hear us?
I hear you loud and clear.
There we go.
We just need to turn the volume of this TV down, I think.
Yeah, we
There you
tried
go.
that.
Perfect.
Did you still hear
Yeah, Nathan, one more time.
I hear you loud and clear.
Perfect, yeah. I think we've got the technical glitches worked out. And Howard brought up that I missed him on roll call.
And I think John and I kind of talked briefly, we're gonna get that fixed for next time, make sure the names are on the
Yes,
paper, so I don't miss somebody. First order of business is to reorganize the plan commission. So we'll do the plan commission first, and then Mark can take over as the current chair for the BZA to do the reorganization. So we need to do a chair and a vice chair. Do we have a motion for anybody?
I have a motion to put Mike Vandemark as chair. Planning Commission.
there might be a problem with that, sir, because the vote hasn't happened for the commissioners to pick the commissioner that's gonna be on the board. So if you are the president and someone decides not to, one or the other ones, it might be a problem.
Well, I think for today, we could still continue with that. Is that correct?
Yes, but you're doing the nominations for the current year, so I guess you could, but we would have to redo it at the next planning commission meeting.
I think we take that chance.
Yeah.
You guys didn't do the planning. I thought you did do.
Yeah, we just picked the main three because they didn't have it listed out for us that
Oh,
day.
right.
But we didn't want the employees to not know who they were.
That you could, but didn't Justin Trim say you could continue?
We would
Yeah.
continue until it changes. That's correct. Yeah. Okay, we have a motion from Mark
I'll second that.
and a second from Dale. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. We need a vice chair.
I nominate Mark Allen.
Mark, do you accept?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, we got a motion from Howard. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Dale. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, and just to clarify, as we move forward here, there has been some miscommunication with the folks that work in the office and the board. So as we have these discussions, if we're saying the plan commission, let's try to use plan commission board. And if we're discussing the folks in the office, the plan commission office, just so there's some clarity as to who we're discussing here. And also, for Amber's purposes with notes, try to remember to say your name before you make a motion or a comment. Do we need anything else for plan commission?
You have to nominate the plan commission's submission for the BZA board.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
yeah. So the designee, I was a designee in the past. So I'm on at this point, I would have to be renominated if I would still be on that BZA board.
Okay.
Somebody would have to make a motion.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else would like to do.
We have a.
I make a motion, we re-nominate Mark Allen.
Okay, we have a motion from Howard, from Mark Allen. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Dale.
Dale seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, should we move forward with Nathan while we're having this discussion? 'Cause I think typically we've made a motion to continue with the attorney. So I guess we're looking for a motion for Nathan spelled very wrong.
No.
Narhan.
Or does he live in Narnia?
Well, I'll make a motion to continue to use Nathan for our council.
Okay, we have a motion from Mark Allen. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Kenny. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion, well, anybody opposed? Motion passes. And I'm gonna add a comment. Nathan, you did a fantastic job for us the last, I don't know, 6 months of last year, and stepped in and came in and did a wonderful job for us. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that sentiment. I enjoy working with the group, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful 2026 for you and all the folks in the county. So looking forward to working with you guys and gals in the next year.
Yeah, Nathan, while we're discussing this, the board here has agreed to continue with you. Are you saying that you're accepting that for a year?
Yes, I'm accepting that for the contract for approval here in the next week before this meeting, so to reflect that.
Okay, great. I think that concludes where we need to be right now.
For the BZA.
Yeah,
So there's only three of us on the BZA as of right now, so we need to make, somebody needs to make a motion for president of the BZA at this point. And the vice president of the BZA, so somebody needs to make that motion.
Motion, you're for president.
Have a motion.
Eugene,
Motion.
second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a motion for vice president for the BZA.
There's only two of us.
Yeah, look okay.
I make a motion for Kenny.
I have a motion for Kenny. I'll second that motion. Kenny, your vice president, all in favor? Aye. So,
All right.
okay.
I think you guys probably have to do the same for Nathan.
Oh, yeah. So we need a motion for the attorney for the BZA. So I need to have somebody make a motion for our council.
I would like to make that motion. I thought he did a wonderful job for us.
Okay,
And so I make the motion that we retain Nathan.
you got a motion?
I
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nathan, congratulations.
Ditto
We'll
my
get you on
sentiments
that.
from before.
Yep, appreciate you.
You bet.
I guess we need to determine, do you want to run the rest of the meeting or you want me to run it?
You can run it.
I figured you were gonna say
Yeah,
that.
that's right. Kick back and let you go.
Yeah. We have oath written down here. Is there anybody that we need to?
We got Christina's at the last meeting. And I think
Kenny was already on the
he's
BZA.
already on the BZA, so I think we're okay.
Okay, so you can move forward with that. Yeah, I didn't think we did even a year ago, but that's okay.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
So there was no record keeping. This is our way of record keeping, you know.
Gotcha. I was just saying that
Yeah.
if it matters, there is not one on record from last year.
Okay, so does that move us all the way down to 8? Did we cover all that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
All right, so that takes us to a discussion of the Plan Commission and BZA job descriptions and position structure. I'm gonna open it up to both boards for open discussion.
In your packet, you have the BZA Secretary and Code Enforcement Officer job description. This is the one that needs approval for us to hire for the position. The other two positions are not in there because there's follow-on guidance that I need from you guys before we can develop. So in the packet, it should be stapled. It should be BZA Secretary and Code Enforcement Officer.
Well, I'm gonna make an opening comment here, to start some discussion. I guess from my management experience, my preference for organization is a top-down and somebody to hold accountable. And my recommendation, at least for discussion, is to have somebody that is always accountable for the office. That would report to the Plan Commission, and in some sense to the BZA, in some regards. And then continue the ladder system on down. So one person would typically take that duty. In the event that person's on vacation, it would fall to their second person that we have picked and they agree is capable of doing that role as a fill-in. But I see a 3-tier position would be most effective, but I would certainly be open to anything you folks recommend.
I can make a comment to sort of, it would support your thoughts, because I worked on the same type of structure. Top down, so you always had a person accountable. And then you had they weren't called a vice, they were called assistants or whatever, who took over for the person in charge, the PIC, so to speak. In the event that the PIC was if people take vacation, people get sick. And so you do have to have someone to step in.
Mhm.
If you don't have that structure, then you're setting yourself up to fail.
And I think when we developed the concept of the pay structure, I think it was kind of set up that way. We kind of had a higher pay and then a next tier down and then more of a entry level type position was the third pay. And there was quite a bit of difference between second tier and third tier pay. So the top two people, you might say, are definitely the most compensated for the role.
Well, in my work world, if you were the assistant, you took over for the manager, the PIC, whatever you may want to call them, but if you took over for them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, you received their salaries. I'm not sure we can do that in,
And that would be challenging.
yeah. But if you're gonna do their jobs, their responsibilities and their work description, you're gonna take less pay for it.
And I think in this case, we created those top two pay structures are not terribly far apart. So it is kind of set up to take some of that responsibility. Dale, any thoughts on a structure?
I do like the top down structure, or bottom up there on how you want to say it. The pay though, I don't think is going to be possible. I think that's going to be a difficult thing. I don't know if there's a workaround for that or not.
Probably not.
The opportunity for somebody to be for 3 weeks, that's kind of rare, isn't it? I mean, wouldn't take like 3 straight weeks off for vacation
I
or
think you get 3 straight weeks of vacation anyway.
unless you'd have to have a surgery or an operation
But
at
the end of the day, the operation would still stop. There are statutory requirements that the code enforcement officer cannot do. They can't sign ILPs, they don't have the authority. They can't sign building permits, they don't have the authority. Right? So in the event the planning administrator leaves, the office still closes. Unless we rewrite a lot of ordinances to give the code enforcement officer the legal responsibility to sign ILPs and sign building permits. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the code enforcement, she can't even issue fines. The fines have to come from the planning commission. Her only responsibilities are to document, contact, take pictures. You know, she's doing the running around for the planning administrator. But at the end of the day, if that planning administrator is not there, she cannot do anything legally. She can't do it.
And that would be a rare event that both of you are out of the office. And
Right.
it would fall on
But that's
the
a
secretary.
separate topic that's later on between us two.
And I do like the idea of our folks in the Plan Commission office and the BZA continue to report to the Plan Commission and the BZA board.
Mhm.
I think the hiring and firing of employees in the office still could fall back to the boards as well.
Just to point out, current statute does not support that. It is the planning administrator's responsibility to hire and fire based on the guidance of the plan commission. So if you want to change that, please vote so I can start drafting an amendment and bring it for you guys.
The current, our current, says that.
Say again?
You're saying the current ordinance says that,
Yes, the current rules of procedure for the planning commission assign hiring authority to the planning administrator.
Our ordinance does?
Our ordinance, the planning commission's rules of procedure, which is their governing ordinance, says the planning administrator is responsible for hiring. And the planning administrator is also the department head, so the employee handbook says they're responsible for hiring. So it would, we can draft amendments, but I just need a vote, so I can do it.
Planning administrator, and then who appoints the building inspector?
The commissioners appoint the building inspector. We'll get into that part later. That part is a giant mess. Hopefully we'll get it figured out today.
You're gonna be changing all, there's gonna have to be some new ordinances put in place.
I think for most of it, it'll just require some amendments. I think we can get away with them.
That'd be floating.
I sent it to Viz. Viz said it was good. And there is a comparison in there showing amendment requirements. So I think he says we're good on the slide deck, so.
I feel personally, it should be left with the plan commission.
May I
That's my
make a
opinion.
comment as a county councilman?
Well, we're currently not open for public comment,
Okay,
but
very good.
no, sir, go
That's
ahead.
fine.
No,
But I'm gonna tell you, we all need to remember that we're public servants. We're here to serve the public. And I don't see how you can serve the public if the planning commission isn't in charge of that office. And then again, you fall underneath the county commissioners. I think, I don't understand why this problem has come up.
this is my take on it so far, just talking with these two a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I think these two have really done some homework on some of the ordinances that previously may have been skirted around a little bit. And I'm hoping we can get all that resolved today, and get better direction. And Nathan's on the Zoom for at least another 10 minutes, so. And Nathan, if any of this needs to go to an executive session, if we can't talk about something, be sure to jump in here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, Mike, my comment on this entire conversation is you do not treat the operations of the Plan Commission, the operations of the BZA and the building department based upon who is presently an employee or who has been in the past and how they've operated. The proper approach here is to say, we're growing from the past, how we operated, and how do we, as an operational level, want to create good processes and procedures so that we as a plan commission, we as a BZA can empower the folks that we have hired to do the job on a day-to-day basis. My observation is that Amber and John here have just dug in. They're observing what we've done in the past. They're observing what current ordinances are, and I can appreciate how they're looking for clarity as they attempt to do their work and continue what's been done in the past, and we move forward. So that's my general recommendation here. Very quickly, you can get territorial here on whose job is, who appoints who. My sense is public servants are appointed to serve on these boards. You offer philosophical direction, and you give the tools to the folks in the office to do their job. So it's absolutely essential that we clarify who's on first, who's the commander. If the commander's out, who steps into their shoes. Absolutely essential here.
We'll say on the BZA Secretary and Code Enforcement Officer, I was able to find an ordinance. It was in the recorder's office that gives the Planning Commission the authority to appoint the Code Enforcement Officer. I do have appointed by the Board of Commissioners on here, but it's actually the Planning Commission, which is why we need the joint meeting, because now BZA owns the Secretary and Planning Commission owns Code Enforcement. So I would also need who is going to take responsibility for that position, if that makes sense.
And my advice there, guys, is I think typically your plan commission is your lead commission, your lead board. Very typically what you see in counties is they're the ones who do the hiring. And then the BZA will then be the offset, and those positions will assist the BZA in the performance of their roles. Not very often do you see where it's completely separate employee of this commission versus this board.
Nathan, I'm trying to get a grasp here on where we should start. And I guess I keep circling back in my mind here to, we should create the three positions, the top tier, the second tier, and the lower tier position to start with, and create titles for those. And then continue to fill in the blanks from there. Would that be a recommendation from you, or perhaps you can?
I think so. I think John's laid out a couple of proposals for your consideration, a good dartboard. So my suggestion would be to lay out, yes, the three positions, and then fill in from there what authority you want them to have, and ultimately who are they then reporting to. So absolutely, I think that's a very proper structure here. And Mike, I do have to pop off in 2 minutes. I got to run and make a presentation at 6 o'clock with Cedar Lake. If I get short, I can come back on, but I do have to be off here in about 2-3 minutes.
Understood. If we have a meeting again in 1 week, this may run into that meeting, and we may have to carry some of this over. If we need to make decisions that would require your guidance, would you advise us to take this information in, digest it, create some structure, and hopefully put some meat on the bones at the next meeting?
I would create those 3 boxes, so to speak, and I would analyze what is their relationship to the BZA, what is their relationship to the Plan Commission, and fill in those boxes the role and duties that those 3 positions are going to have. And then from there, if there are outstanding questions, have John and Amber note those down. I can chat with them in the next 2 days, and we'll come prepared to hopefully finalize a week from now.
Yeah, and I think that timing would be great, because we'd be following that with a commissioner meeting about 4 days after. So if we could get it squared away at the next meeting, I think we could then proceed to take it to the commissioners at their next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you for your
All right,
time.
good. You bet, guys. Yep, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Any more discussion from the board? John, have you created any ideas of titles, or?
I have ideas of titles for all 3 options. Option A would be the dual-headed position. So the dual-headed position realistically is the executive director, and that would be the title of myself. Amber would be the deputy, what was it? Deputy administrative assistant or whatever. But she would have no authority to sign ILPs, issue fines, investigate code enforcement violations. All that would fall on me. Option B is we split the departments. That's kind of how we're operating now, because it was splitting over time. Mine would be the building commissioner of the building department, and she would be the planning administrator of the planning department. And then option C, I would be the director, dual hatting, and she would be the planning administrator. And we would amend the 2 ordinances to separate them. The problem is the commissioners created the office of the building commissioner, which in turn created the building department. But for some reason, there's a blurb in there giving the building department administrative control over the planning department. It's one of the, if you look at the building code that I have in front of you, you'll see that. And so that's where it worked for a long time, but it started to fracture at some point. And then it hit its tipping point in go up. To the one that says background. Right there. So in February of 2021, there's a grievance filed between the planning administrator and the building commissioner at that time. Because the planning administrator believed that she was the planning administrator. However, when the building commissioner was hired based on ordinance, he absorbed her position. And so she essentially became a secretary because the ordinance says the building commissioner will be the planning administrator for the planning commission. So there was a argument there. It went before the commissioners, and that's when the commissioners ordered that the two departments be split. Now, they did that in practice, but it was never done in ordinance, which is where we are today. There is two positions. We do acknowledge she's the planning administrator, but she is really not the planning administrator. I am the planning administrator. So that's why we have your options. Which way do you guys want to go?
Is there a way to test this?
As far-
Temporarily do the split and see if it is feasible or,
It's
rather than jump in and, give it a chance.
and all the options are feasible, sir. The only thing makes it not feasible is on paper, Amber does not have the authority to sign, enforce planning and zoning ordinances. We
Okay,
can't test that because,
right, Okay.
So it could, in theory, if we created a title that you would currently have if you were appointed executive director, that would give you authority over the whole package.
yes,
And then the planning administrator would also have a lot of the same abilities. So if you were out of the office, she could still sign some of these things to keep things moving forward.
yes, sir. That is option C. We would modify the building code and the plan commission code, remove the blurbs about who owns what. And then I essentially, well, you wouldn't modify the building code. That one would stay because that assigns me as the planning administrator as well. We create a new title for her and then we amend the plan commission ordinance, giving that new title administrative authority to act as an administrative officer for the plan commission. She then inherits the authority from the plan commission. And she can handle zoning and planning. She still can't handle building, but that would require an amendment by the commissioners doing the same for her. But you can have two administrative officers under the plan commission. So I would be ultimately responsible and I would hold override authority with the decision she made. But she would be free to enforce planning, zoning, and all that.
What is working for you guys? What's your opinion? Which one of these options do you like?
In my opinion, we're currently operating under hybrid. For the most part, it might be me bulldozing her, but she runs her own thing. And then sometimes I step in and say, maybe not. And then, you know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, I think we're running
I think we
hybrid.
work
right now.
well together. I mean,
Well, in your opinion, out of the three, you like option C?
Yeah, I think option C is the simplest. And it allows you guys to maintain your selection of your planning administrator. What also happens, for example, is if the commissioners hire me, I'm the administrator. So what happens, the planning commission then has to hold a vote on whether they accept me as the planning administrator. If they don't, then the planning commission has no planning administrator because I'm the only one that they can pick based on code. So it makes sense to amend the code, create two administrative officers, and I will hold authority, override authority, but she will be running around on her own, enforcing what she needs to enforce.
So the ultimate authority would be yours because you would be able to override her.
Correct. So I would be the director, also known as the building commissioner, and she would be the planning administrator.
Now, Kenny, to your point about testing the waters, and John probably didn't even realize it, but I get calls from the public regularly due to my position. And I have to check in with the office because I don't work here. I work somewhere else. I have gone to John for probably 2 to 3 weeks now about everything that's come up. And he has handled it. Now, whether he's going to Amber and getting those, I don't know, but he's been really good about being the point contact in that structure so far.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that other people on the planning commission, if that structure develops, would have a similar relationship to that point. Now, that doesn't mean John's not just going to Amber and saying, what do I need to do here?
A lot of time.
But regardless, it's still a point of contact of, who to go directly to.
Right. As far as the BZA secretary and code enforcement officer, that role would fall under both of us, but it would fall under Amber primarily because, as the building commissioner, I'm the only one that can enforce unsafe building, and I can't enforce, public nuisance, RVs, all that. So she is code enforcement for zoning and planning only. She cannot enforce building code and I cannot enforce. So she would be an employee that falls under Amber on the planning side of the house. Unless the commissioners give her, again, the authority to enforce building code.
So her duties would be listed,
Yes,
exactly
look
what
at
she
it, all
would
of
be
her,
doing.
Yeah.
That you're trying to empower her with, or.
well,
She probably
she
do
won't
it,
have
but-
any power still. She can only take pictures, investigate,
Right,
make contact with the.
yeah, her job description.
Right,
That's
but
what,
her job description is limited to planning and zoning only. Okay, not limited to building.
all right,
I would still have to control that part.
that's okay.
The third position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I just have, can I talk real quick?
Well, is the board okay if I open it up to public comment for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to open it up, public comment.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The only thing I say, Mike, is you guys have your own attorney, but this is all county stuff. I think our county attorney should be involved in this too, when we're making all these changes. Because the whole idea of a plan commission and a zoning board, in my thought, is not to make it a political football. So all of a sudden, you've got the commissioners making the appointments, then there's 3 of you, and the pressure's on. It only takes 2 of you. Not saying that would ever happen, but I'm just saying, it needs to be freestanding. To keep us neutrality. That's the whole reason. If you're gonna do that, you might as well just do away with the plan commission and the BZA totally. And just not even have,
Get rid of the boards.
get rid of the boards totally.
Well, I think in option C, John, Amber, and the secretary would all still report to the plan
And
commission.
that's the way it should be.
Right, that's how it's
It's
set
not
up.
appointed by the planning.
With the exception of building. So building is the same as plan commission. It's the same as health department. Building reports to the commissioners because the commissioners cannot delegate the responsibility that they hold for the safety of buildings and structures. So I would have to report to both boards regardless.
I think that our attorney should verify that.
Well, and that would be part of the checks and balance, because if we approved it, it's got to go to the commissioners and then that would be under Shram. I think that would make sense.
Yeah, and I guess my question is, it currently, it's appointed by this board. To Todd's point, planning is not meant to be political. And like he said, commissioners elected, you face different political pressures than what this board would face. So that's why it was always appointed by the planning commission, is my understanding, looking back on things. So I guess my question would be, I mean, as a citizen, I wouldn't support that shift and that separation. But my question would be, what is the public benefit and gain to making that change?
Which change are you talking about, Mike?
If you were to be appointed and roll to the commissioners instead of this board?
Because the building department was never designed to be under the planning commission. The building department was designed to be a standalone department. That's why the title is building commissioner and not building inspector. The issue is the ordinances place the building commissioner in administrative control of the planning commission. The fix to that is to separate us, so I operate under me and the plan commission operates under the plan commission.
But why couldn't they both still continue to operate under?
Because they can, if the commissioners relinquish authority over me to the plan commission, then yes, I will fall under the plan commission. But as it stands, when they created the office of the building commissioner, I have to report to them on building. I still report to the plan commission during the meetings about how many building permits we have, how many, failure rate we have and all that fun stuff. Is there a trend in building code violations? I can report all that to them, but I have to report that to the commissioners.
And zoning and everything is still under planning commission board.
And where do the appointments come? Who does the hiring?
The commissioners do the hiring.
But that kind of contradicts itself
It does.
because we appoint you every year.
Right.
Yeah, but that is another thing we've always done. My position as the building commissioner serves at the pleasure of the board. There is no annual reappointments. I'm just here until I get fired, retired, quit, or die. And the same thing with her position. You guys hired her to be the planning administrator under the same thing. I don't know where this annual thing came from. There is no term limits. Again, we can make term limits if you would like and put it in the rules of procedure.
We've always done it that way.
We've always appointed
Yes.
at the first meeting of the year,
What's that?
the administrator.
Secretary, building inspector.
But to their defense, and I'm
Right.
not taking a side here,
Neither am I.
how it's always been done and how it's actually written may be different.
They are.
And that may be just part of what he's bringing up that we need to clean up. He's not saying that we need to do it one way or the other.
No, I understand these.
I don't care.
No.
I understand you want our guidance on how you'd like to go ahead. If you want to reappoint your planning administrator every year, I can absolutely draft up a new rules of procedure that include that, But as of right now, there is no term limits on the position. In Indiana statute, it's you work until you're fired or quit or retire or die.
Indiana code, if you're considered the building, what?
Commissioner.
Administrator, is that what your job description is?
Building commissioner, yes.
But not administrator?
It is
Commissioner.
because of the ordinances that the county wrote in 2006 and 2010. You can't believe it?
No, I can't
Yeah.
see it.
Okay.
I just, it just seems like we're getting all concluded here in the salary ordinance.
Looked at it.
Salary ordinance, the jobs don't even mirror what we're even talking about.
You're right. I understand that. I can't help that.
Well, I can't either. We just do what we're asked to do.
Like-
And I think that's what John's asking for is to get this cleaned up.
Right.
Just a clarification.
Yep. In 2006, you'll notice there's an ordinance in there establishing the planning administrator as the executive director. And then there's a little blurb at the bottom that says they will handle building codes. And then in 2010, the office of the building commissioner was established that made them the planning commissioner or the planning administrator. So now planning administrator becomes the building commissioner and they own both building and planning departments.
Okay, so for sake of conversation and moving forward, option C seems to be kind of where the board is trending.
Yes.
Still wanting to be recognized.
Oh, sorry, sir. Go ahead.
So one of the purposes of having boards like this, you're picked from the council or the commissioners or the planning commission. You are liaisons from the public to the commissioners. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
So you hire and fire the employees of the planning commission? And so-
Currently, that's how it's being done, but that may be not how it's written.
Maybe the easier way is to write it to the way we were doing it.
Right.
Because I tell you, a good job description is great. There's liberties within boundaries. The best thing you can have is a board to go back on. I kind of see a dictatorship coming here, and I don't know that I like it.
So we have to keep in mind that we, Amber and I, the staff, are the enforcement arm of our respective boards. We don't make decisions. We draft ordinances based on guidance, and then we execute what they tell us to execute. We have no voting rights. We don't change anything. We enforce what's in place.
But you do not want to be under them You want
I
to be
am
directly
saying
under
I
the
have to
is that
be
not right?
under both. I'm not telling you I want
That's what
to.
he's saying.
I'm saying I
what he's
have to
saying
be
is
under
that
both.
The ordinance right now dictates that he has to be under the commission
That's where we need to correct the problem.
and not under the board itself.
Because this board has got a good function. We need to take advantage of it.
Is that, am I understanding that?
Yes,
right? Okay.
the ordinance was written to establish the office, but not much thought was in it past that. They inadvertently gave the building commissioner control of the planning office, and option B is to separate those departments.
Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in order to do that, the commissioners have to relinquish you back to us.
So the rules of procedure can be amended from the plan commission, just removing that the planning administrator is responsible for enforcing all Indiana building codes. However, the building code that removes my authority over the planning commission would have to go to the state, because all building codes amendments have to go to the state. Once I got it approved from the state, I'll have to bring it back and bring it to the commission for approval.
So if that's the case, the previous building commissioner, it was let go by the plan commission. So does that mean his firing was null and void? And who hired you?
It was under, I'm under the understanding that he left,
I think he resigned.
he resigned. The last time this was brought up was the 2010 issue for the exact same reason that we're sitting here right
Talking
now.
for like 2021.
Oh, 21, sorry.
Okay, anything else from the public?
Make a motion to close that.
Okay, we've got a motion to close public comment for now. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So I like where a couple of the folks in the crowd's coming from here, and I appreciate the concerns, and I do think this is all still discussion, so nothing's set in stone, and you're
No,
not,
sir.
you're just presenting options at
Yep.
this point. In my mind, we've discussed a lot here. Option C, which is the three-tier potential, the executive director, the planning administrator, the BZA secretary. I'd like to see something like that moving in that direction, with the exception of doing it how it's modeled towards the tribal knowledge of the last few years of the plan commission board is creating these jobs, they're hiring, they're terminating. And I've kind of always liked the idea of reappointing after a year, but that's up to the board. And the commissioners ultimately pick who's on these boards along with members of the council. So I think they would probably relinquish that to the plan commission because they've picked the people to be on it. That's just my conversation. I want you guys to kind of,
Not me. I'm placed by the township.
you're an exception to everything. Mark.
I know, I am.
I agree with you, Mark.
Trustees,
Mike. I agree.
I agree.
I agree, Mike.
Okay, so for the record, you guys, let's do one thing at a time. So, do you want to appoint the planning administrator annually?
Well, let's pause. You're getting just a little bit ahead. I still kind of want, there's still a few people who haven't said anything. And we've got Kenny and Jean and Christina here. So I'm kind of looking for some feedback.
I mean, I think this is all new information. Like, I'm learning all of this, I guess I should say. So I feel like if we're meeting in a week, I think that's a good time for me, at least personally, to kind of absorb all of this, kind of look and see what other communities are doing, just so I have some point of reference, because I don't really, this is all new to me. I don't want to just vote and not know
Right.
exactly what I'm.
I think it needs to be thought out. I think everything needs to be thought out. Sometimes things can be presented and right off the bat, it sounds great, yeah, that'll work, this will do. But everything has to be thought out, and every decision has to be an educated move for the community, for the county. For the best for the county. Just give it,
you know, I heard everything. I mean, I'm not pro or I'm not against anything. I'm just saying it's myself. I know sometimes I have a delayed reaction and then I'll start thinking, what about this or what about that? And if I vote on something and didn't give my self a chance to uh look at all the what ifs or whatever, then I won't feel comfortable voting for anything myself.
Yeah, and I think per Nathan's advice, he didn't want us to take any action tonight.
Right.
But I do think we should at least narrow the path so they know what to collaborate for the next meeting, so that way it doesn't get pushed.
Leaning one way is no problem. I'm leaning to some of his ideas and their ideas. I'm not saying, like I just said, I'm not saying, no, that's it, no, we can't do that, oh, it's always been this way. Things change over the years and job descriptions change. And it just needs to be thought out a little bit, that's all I'm asking.
Can I add something to this? I think the hybrid option C, I think that you're using is probably, for my personal opinion, by looking at it, looks like a very functional thing. Is that working well for you?
It is, sir. I just felt guilty, because I was hired after her and it kind of stripped her
I
of
told
what
him
she was
the other
hired
night.
for.
Oh, no, but I mean, you think it's okay. I think it's working, okay.
It does work. For now, I believe it works.
I think it works.
The only other question is, so I don't know how you functional wise, but for townships, the way we work is we have a board, 3-person board, and then we have a trustee. So the way that it works is the board is responsible for the financials, a lot of the financial stuff, but they're also involved with the procedures and all this other stuff. But functionally, it works very well for townships. So I do like the idea personally of yearly, that's just my personal yearly appointing somebody on the plan commission because the board takes beating out in the public for the financials. So personally, I think they get a little bit of slack or something may happen for, let's say, the trustee does or something like that. So I just like the idea that we reaffirm that person. I do like that. I don't know what the other board members think, but I just think it's a good thing. So it's
I
not
like-
saying we're not gonna point.
I like your idea because in the event, it's a 7-person decision versus a 3-person
I
decision.
agree. Yeah, it's
I think there's-
different groups.
Right.
We all different politics. and-
Exactly.
7 people, to me, you don't want to take away the checks and balances, so you
Yeah.
got 7 people, then you got the BZA has usually more than 5.
I just
So
like that, yeah.
you got some checks there, I'm not sure I want to give up any appointments. I just kind of like the structure. I do like the C plan that John put out there because of the different tiers, but maybe just some fine tuning down the road. I really hesitate to make any decisions without the attorney around,
Yeah.
but
I agree.
Gwen, can you still hear us?
Lost.
Yes, I can hear you.
She's awake.
I am awake. I have, of course, been absorbing all of this information, and I feel like option C is something that I would prefer. But I also agree with some of the board members that we should have the authority, I guess you'd say, to appoint the staff within the planning commission on a yearly basis.
And Gwen, you kind of danced around. Do you think that the plan commission should be the oversight for all 3 of these potential positions? Or do you think one of them should be a combination of the commissioners and the plan commission?
I believe they should all be under the planning commission.
What I believe.
Yeah, understood.
Mhm.
It kind of seems like I'm seeing a consensus from the board to at least trend that direction. I kind of want to give these 2 some guidance today to at least help develop this. Would it be worth creating a motion from each board to maybe draft a couple of options to option C, maybe tweak it a little bit each way. To give us something for the next meeting, but maybe trend us.
I
that
can
direction.
dive deeper into two of them if you'd like to eliminate one as a group now. I think that's fair. It is only a week away and we don't have a code enforcement, so I gotta go enforce code and check buildings.
Yeah.
So it'll take me a little bit longer to draft ordinances. So if you could eliminate at least one of them, I think I could work. And
That's fair.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to see a C or a slightly tweaked C version, a couple options. I'd like to make sure that Nathan has reviewed them to understand that we're following in the guidance that we need to. And of course, any decision that's made potentially at the next meeting would have to go to the commissioners for approval after that. In which case would be the checks and balances with the county attorney, Schramm. As one of the members in the crowd here has pointed out.
I say just, if you can, clarification, black and white, no gray areas, for the board to look at. A lot of times, the way wording is put down, it could mean a couple things and, you know.
I think he's done a pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
The reason, I'm just saying, if you're gonna go back and try to tweak it,
Yeah,
you know, just.
yeah, it's all in here, sir. I promise you.
Okay,
I've hit every base. I've looked through every single ordinance that has come out of or
Okay.
involved the plan commission and since 2002.
that's a time now.
And this is everything that has happened in front of us, and this is why we're having this meeting. It's just,
and I'll
there's
read
a lot of open-ended
Make sure.
stuff that didn't happen.
I'll read it more carefully and.
I'd like to see, you mentioned there might have to be a couple amendments that the commissioners would have to sign to just clean up some of this detail.
Yes,
So I'd like to at least see some drafts of what that might look like before the next meeting.
And in fairness to you, John. And I think everybody will agree with this, we're asking you to write job descriptions. And to put this together, basically. You're writing a job description and details for yourself and for Amber. And I think we need to recognize that, and I don't mean this negative, I mean, I'm saying this very positive towards you, because you're sitting down and you're trying to write a job description for yourself, for Amber, for Robbie. And then bringing it to us for approval. Am I right?
you are, but that's also my job.
Well,
You know,
see, not necessarily. I mean, when you were hired, you were under the.
right, I will give you that.
assumption,
When I was
okay.
hired, I was on the assumption of,
Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear that I appreciate what you're doing.
And just so he has some direction, we've kind of thrown out these titles of executive director, planning administrator, and BZA/planning secretary.
That's correct, because we're looking to see.
Or is that terminology?
so honestly, sir, in all three options, this is the only thing, if nothing happens tonight, this is the only thing that will not change regardless of options that you pick. She will always be a joint employee of both boards.
Correct.
She'll respond, she will take guidance during meetings from the BZA, but outside of meeting timeframes, she will belong to the planning commission.
Yeah. So what I was getting at here is we've created three rough titles here. Which I would be comfortable moving forward with those titles as just the names. So as he's drafting this, those would be the three titles that we would move forward with.
Just so that we can understand and not, right now we're throwing around so many different titles, like, so who's on first, you know?
We went all through this, Mike,
Right.
and when we created the salary ordinance, we created those titles, the job descriptions were written for those titles.
Correct.
Now, if we're gonna change them again, first of all, I think there's probably gonna have to be a public hearing at some point in time.
Any amendments to the zone, to the thing.
For sure. And I mean, if we're gonna keep this all clean, we need to change the salary ordinance to match what we're doing.
Absolutely. I think that's the goal here, is to try to just clean this all up.
That was the whole idea of
Right.
doing what we did and saying, okay, you guys need to prove the new job descriptions that were written, and now we're gonna do it all again. So,
I don't have those job descriptions. I was informed in December that I needed 3 new job descriptions for the planning, for the
I
commissioners.
thought they were written, that was the whole idea.
No,
Okay, my bad then.
Just.
Well, there was,
so the 3 that I briefed the commissioners were the 3 that were based off the salary ordinance, the director,
Right.
the executive, and those are the 3 that I presented to the board based on what I knew at the time, which falls in line with.
Well, it's director, deputy administrative assistant, and secretary.
Right, and
That's
so
the
that
deputy.
is the hybrid. The deputy administrative assistant would be given administrative officer authority in the plan commission, and that's how I did it. So we're.
So those are the titles you use.
Right, those are the titles.
Yeah, I care about.
That was the title that I
You're
used.
hiring,
Yep,
because you gotta review salary.
yes, those are the 3 titles that I used, because that's what I was told I had to make job descriptions for.
That's fair enough.
They keep saying different names.
Yeah, they
I
keep
think
saying
that's what's
different names.
confusing.
Yeah, that's based on which option, you know, but hybrid C, option C is the one that I had briefed the commissioners, and that was based on the salary ordinance.
Okay.
so we cannot, at this point, move forward with the new position until we get this cleaned up.
Yes, until I get an approval from both boards on this. Once I get an approval on this, then I can post the job until 3 days before the next planning commission meeting. And if both boards decide they want to do the hiring, then I will present to you all the applicants at the 14th meeting. If you choose to let me hire, then I will interview applicants and I will hire based on what you guys feel is important to you. What are your KSAs? What are you looking for education? You know what I'm saying? So that's entirely up to you guys, but you do have everything in front of you. If you want to make a decision, and I can get the job posted tomorrow.
Yeah,
But you can't, I'm sorry, real quick. The only thing is if you're changing the reporting structure.
The
And the
reporting
job
structure never
description.
changed.
Okay, so the reporting structure is not changing
No,
in the position that we need to open.
no, the reporting structure is they report to both boards.
So they do, and if we don't change that, then you're good. But if there's any amendments that need to be made. Because the job description cannot override, the job description will not override agenda 3 or our ordinance. So whatever the ordinance says.
Yeah,
or
the
code-
ordinance says code enforcement belongs to planning, and that's the. Now, it is separated in 2 different duties because it's a dual head. So you have essential duties as the BZA secretary, and you have essential duties as a code enforcement officer. And code enforcement officer clearly designates the planning commission that owns that.
Right, but that's where I'm saying, that's where we're trying to explain it doesn't match. What was presented to the council.
From what I saw, it was BZA secretary and code.
Just
No,
the
it's the secretary, there's no code enforcement.
And also,
It's-
we made a motion in July, which that was a motion we made, that any job description would be approved with the by the plan commission ahead of time.
By the plan commission?
Yes,
Who is we?
county council.
Okay.
I mean,
I just wanna make sure that. we don't do something
I'm
against the agenda
asking
that's
because
gonna-
I'm new to local government.
Hearing.
Does the county
Before
council
you guys
create
fill.
ordinance? Or is it just we said you have to do it?
well, we're the ones who control the salary ordinance.
Right, so you can
So-
tell us what the title has to be.
No. The title was already told what it had to be
Right.
by the plan commission.
Well,
All we
my
did
question
we
is-
agreed to that.
my
Now, if we're gonna
question
start
is-
changing stuff,
What ordinance gives the council the ability to tell me what my job?
ordinance, we control the money. We can-
But if you- So what,
Okay.
there has to be something in writing that says you can tell me that the
Not telling
job
you.
descriptions have to go in front of the plan
I'm
commission.
telling the board how we voted. That's
Okay.
that's how the county council voted. If nobody wants to take credence to that, fine. We can revisit the whole salary ordinance at our next meeting. We can do that.
I'm
That's
working
fine.
on what I have, so we're working with.
I'm just telling you the way we did it, right? It just, as long as it follows the proper chain,
Right, so what is the proper change? Why, so how is a department head not responsible for writing their own employees'
That's not,
job
I'm
description?
not telling you how to run your department.
You just said that the job descriptions had to be approved by the plan commission.
I'm just telling you that is the way the county council voted. That's what I said. Okay, for the budget. Okay, if anybody wants to take that in credence, you could probably find it, and it probably has no credence.
Okay,
That's
but what you're saying is if it's not approved by the plan commission, then the budget doesn't get approved.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, I'm asking, I don't understand,
What,
please.
what I'm saying is, we made that recommendation, so everything would be clean,
Okay,
okay? That was back in July, and that's why we made that recommendation. And here we are in January, and we're right in the middle of this whole conundrum.
yeah, I'm sorry, I found out in
Because-
December, like 3
yeah.
days before.
No, I know, I'm not saying you, I'm just stating the facts. I mean, yeah, we can't tell you what to do, but we control the money,
I got it, that's
and we
fair,
can control that very, very easily.
that's fair.
I think what I was trying to get to, Mike, for the sake of, and I know you guys will meet again with Nathan, but right now we have a code enforcement officer in agenda 3. What
No.
is? No,
We do not,
Our
it
ordinance
was,
does
it
not
was a
read the
separate ordinance that created the code enforcement officer.
and the separate, so that's my problem, so that's what I was saying, if we don't call the budget and what was approved is not a code enforcement officer. So, what I'm saying, it's a secretary, so what I'm trying to explain is that if you guys post it as code enforcement versus the title that they have listed, we have to first rewrite the ordinance, do a public hearing, so if you change the titles in the job description,
What, how do we change the titles
if
of,
you wanna change the title,
the salary ordinance?
well, then you either have to do a salary ordinance, you'd have to either do a new salary ordinance with the corrected title.
We were under the impression at the commissioners meeting that changing the job title was the easy part.
Here's what I would do. You wanna make this really clean, okay? First of all, I don't know why we took the code enforcement out of the whole thing to start with. So this may be a question for the attorney. Since you have the secretary position, I would say, we'll just say part of the secretary's duties.
Jobs is code.
He's code for it.
Don't do that, then you guys have to do
Yeah.
all these public hearings. Because anytime you make a change to the ordinance, it requires. a
There,
public hearing.
everything,
So
everything
rather
is
than
out.
changing the ordinance. put
I
the
don't,
code
I don't think
enforcement.
I don't think it works like that. The commissioners have to give the authority to enforce code. So if we just remove it, then there is no code enforcement ever, we're just paying for the safety.
You just listed it.
So you can't list it as an additional duty,
No, just gonna change the job description, delete this, and keep everything in
then
there.
she can't enforce code.
She can, because it's part of her job description.
So,
That's,
so what we said,
It doesn't make sense because the code enforcement officer is known as the code enforcement officer. It's not known as the BZA
but we
secretary.
eliminated that position basically.
Yes, by combining it into two.
Right, so now the new title is secretary and that secretary does code enforcement.
So then we have to go to the commissioners to amend the
Right.
code enforcement ordinance. Okay.
Anything you do right now sounds like you're gonna need a public hearing. I was trying to keep the public hearing from having that
You try.
for the sake of you not having to wait so long to backfill position.
Well,
But Nathan may be able to tell you better.
I would ask for counsel.
yeah, we gotta have counsel. I mean, that we kind of knew that going into this with him leaving at 6.
Yeah.
But I still think we need to give,
Them some
we
direction.
have to give him some direction. John needs at least something to move in a direction of. I think there was a consensus among the board here. You know, to kind of move in a direction. We're not making any decisions here. But at least that gives him a direction to work in and give us more viable options. It sounds like maybe a little bit of homework on the job titles and what we might need to do for the salary ordinance. Which that could be a discussion for Nathan as well. Because to Todd's point, he just wants to make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah, that's the whole idea
And
we've
just
been trying
get
to
it
do
clean.
all along.
I agree, sir. I'm sorry.
That's the only thing.
That's why we're having this meeting is because I want to do it the way it's in the books and
There's no intention to impede anything. The intention is to make everything clean.
yes.
So everybody understands exactly what their money is being spent for and what we're doing. I mean,
We have no other option.
no.
I'm ready to put a motion on the floor, Mike, when you're ready to hear one.
I'd love to hear that, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we put in. We direct John to start a administration structure under his guidelines C. With the exception of the planning commission board would like to retain complete authority to appoint or not appoint the two positions.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
A motion from Howard. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Does that give you some direction to work towards for the next meeting?
Yes, sir. Hybrid option and you want to be able to control the hiring of both the building commissioner and the planning administrator? Or
I think
the executive,
Motion.
the executive administrative assistant?
Can we just get the 3 job titles right now that I think?
I'll amend the motion to
So that we
3.
make it match the salary.
Yeah.
Like
I'll
that.
amend the motion to 3.
Okay, so you want all 3, I don't remember them, but whatever the titles are on the salary ordinance, you want complete control over the hiring and of them and firing of them and whatever.
That's what we're.
That's my motion.
That was his motion.
What I'd like to amend that because I said 2 and I meant 3.
I think I knew you meant these two.
All right. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, so is that ready to go?
John, do you need anything else from us before we move on? Does that give you some direction?
Are we, is this gonna be the
What are we
BZA
talking
position?
about?
The BZA secretary, am I just dropping code enforcement and?
Well, I
Sending it?
think we need to look at that title, but I also think that we need the attorney to give us advice on that. And we can make that decision at the next meeting, pending his advice when he's back here, as to how we should hire, for that position. I do think, and this is just a comment for the board, that we need to do everything possible to publicly advertise it when that position is officially created. And I mean, a week or 2 on Indeed, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm not speaking for the board here. But we need to adequately advertise for it, so everybody in the community knows that that position was available. I don't know if the board kind of feels the same, or maybe you guys all disagree with me.
No, that sounds fair. I think it should be advertised.
I do have one question though, on the other 2 positions under minimum qualifications, you had. The requirements to be a county resident, under this one, it's not.
Which one is that?
Your BZA secretary,
Which one is that on?
like BZA secretary.
The minimum qualification is to be in, so. I couldn't find any requirement in any county where the.
Where's that at?
They have to be a county they have to live in the county.
But on the other 2 job descriptions, you had that.
What says they're appointed positions? Robbie was just a county employee. So that requirement didn't exist.
Well, since it merged, code enforcement should have been on the county.
Preferred.
So. Well, that's what I mean, and now, yeah.
Discussion?
No, I think we can move on from that.
Let's move on.
Okay, I think that covers 9 as well.
Yeah.
So we can move on to 10. We've actually got a few things that are really close to the finish line that, and for and Christina, you came on in December and got to be at our very fun meeting over at the school. But last year was a challenging year for the Plan Commission. And well, one, I got to thank everybody for sticking it out because it was very stressful for everybody. There was a lot of things going on. We had several new folks come in, and I certainly appreciate that. And we have, I'm going to say, several big ticket items that are very close to the finish line here that has been kind of clouded by other things going on. And one of those is we've discussed carbon capture. That one's kind of in its infancy a little bit. We've just discussed it. We're trying to get momentum there. The solar ordinance, I know that we've hired Nathan. He's drafted something. We've yet to set a meeting and we kind of got interrupted with another meeting last year due to something else.
Mike,
So
we have the meeting scheduled for the solar ordinance.
I thought that was
They're
changed.
January 14th. They've been
Well, that's
published.
public hearing.
That's public hearing. They've been posted, I think, in the paper for what, 6 weeks now?
Okay.
But the planning commission still hasn't. had a
That's,
chance
that's
to-
the
Yeah.
planning commission.
Well,
Yeah,
but that is so, okay, hold on, back up. That's the extension of the moratorium.
yes.
Yes.
On solar.
Yeah, it's not the
ordinance.
action, it's not the ordinance, it's
we're-
the extension on the moratorium that we had to get. But
And carbon
Yeah.
capture, we did vote and pass to put out a moratorium on.
And I had the follow-up with Nathan on the carbon capture.
Right.
He did delay on that one to help us with that data center one and the urgency that we needed it. He is continuing. I know he jumped off now, but he was gonna give us an update on where he was with the carbon capture.
Yeah. And so circling back, so the January 14th is the public hearing to extend the
The
moratorium.
moratorium for battery and solar.
And what I was discussing was the work that he had done on the ordinance that we haven't even had a chance to
We got a draft of it.
correct.
Yeah, and I think I've sent it out. It is available in the office if anybody wants a copy of it
But we need to get that on the schedule.
for tech review.
Yeah, because we haven't even discussed that yet, so.
Yeah.
So if we're doing the public hearing to extend the moratorium on the 14th, when would be a good time for this board to schedule a period of time to discuss the ordinance that's been drafted? And do we want to do an additional meeting? Do we want to add it to a existing meeting?
With a lot of the changes, if we needed to do another tech board and have a committee, I don't think we have one currently established.
That
Right
is
now,
correct.
So we need to,
Reappoint.
we have to do that appointment. I think it was on one of these.
And I think we're short a lot of members. I would like to see us have a full board, I guess, before we.
The,
Try to put that
the
together.
moratorium hopefully will pass shortly. It'll give us an additional 12 months, or 6 months. Actually, it was a 6-month pause. But it'll give us enough time at least to receive what Viz has, get a tech review committee going and review it. It'll give me time to edit it, any changes that the committee, any loopholes that are in there that need to be closed, and then present it to you guys within the next 6 months.
Okay, so that takes me back to discussion on, because we haven't even, as a board, discussed what he's drafted for us yet. Discussion from the Plan Commission Board on when we might want to try to pencil that in. Do we want to wait till a February meeting? Do we want to have an additional meeting in January?
Probably an additional meeting in January would be probably in order.
Yeah. Do we want to just set a meeting just to discuss that? Public meeting?
I would definitely do that, yes. Cause look where we're at, I mean,
Yeah, so how about our, what would it be, our third Wednesday?
yeah,
I don't know if, for the public.
21st.
will that Be just a normal, there won't be any ordinances passed.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Just,
21st will be fine.
21st.
Kenny, would that fit your schedule?
Yes, I'm flexible.
Dale, 21st.
Yeah.
Christina?
Howard,
So far,
okay,
What time?
First,
Okay, so the 21st is just gonna be a meeting set. We can always add something to it between
Oh,
now and then
that's
if something
5:30.
comes up, but let's schedule that.
5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 normal time.
Good.
This will be primarily for discussion over what Nathan's already drafted.
And we know that'll probably be a pretty long meeting.
It will be. There'll be a lot of discussion. And nothing's gonna be established in that meeting. It's just discussion for the board. So I don't think it has to be a public meeting in that, or public comment, does it?
I think it'd just be a normal posting. It's not an ordinance or a resolution,
Yeah.
right?
That's just an open, it's
It's
just,
just an open
Open
public meeting,
discussion.
so 48
Just
hour
a meeting,
notice.
yeah.
just a reminder, you have somebody online that you keep forgetting to ask if they've got it.
I
Go
assume
ahead.
she'll pipe
Go ahead.
up if she,
Glenn, you make that?
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, we're not trying to forget you. If you need something, yell.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
okay, so the 21st, we're scheduling to go over the draft that Nathan has established. Is there anything from the board that you guys would like to see added to next week's meeting?
I will not be here. I'll be in Florida. Sorry. Hate to break everybody's thing, but I'm going warm. I won't be here either.
Okay, so that's gonna be the January 14th.
Well, Glenn will be here, so that should still.
Yeah,
I'll be out.
should be good.
Don't jinx us.
Christina, you're gonna be good for the 14th. Dale. Howard, you're good for the
Should be,
14th.
right.
I'll be coming back.
And Gwen, you're good for the 14th as well?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Kenny, yeah, you're on the planning commission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kenny.
okay,
Oh,
so,
you have a quorum.
yeah, we'll be good.
Sorry.
Okay, so that covers the solar ordinance. The extension, could potentially be next week. Carbon capture. We want to stay aggressive on that right now. We could add that to possibly the 21st as,
I gotta reach out to Nathan if he has that draft yet. I do not have a copy of that draft at all yet. I've not seen it.
okay, I know he said was it December, he was still,
But, and when I reached out, I got the drafts for the extensions. I got the draft for the data before, but I've not gotten the carbon capture.
Right, and that's just the moratorium draft.
Yes.
Not the ordinance.
Yeah.
That
So
would
what-
be a one page.
if we have that ordinance for the carbon capture by the 21st, board good with adding that to the 21st for discussion?
The more, for the moratorium.
If he has it done, I'm not saying that he
Sure.
will, okay. We can pencil that in case he does have that done. Okay, and the 2026 calendar, does the Wednesday at 5:30
Perfect.
fit with
Good with me.
everybody?
This would be the only, this meeting would be the only one I miss next week.
14th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be good for the rest of the.
Okay, so we want to do a motion.
Just from the public comment of the last two meetings, a lot of public mentioned at the planning commission meetings start a little bit later and BZA start earlier, and I mean, it's not, I would just want to bring
I
that
don't
point
like
up that they.
change. I don't like that change.
Now say that again, Amber.
They wanted to move
They
the.
wanted to either
Shift.
swap the meetings or at least start the planning commission meeting later.
You mark when you see. So that way you could be here all night for planning commission meetings. Yeah.
Thoughts from you folks?
You mean reverse it, have their
BZA
BZA
start at
first?
5:30 and then start planning commission, but that was just a suggestion from the group. It's not.
There was one person that wanted to come, remember? They said if they had the meetings later, they could come.
I think we have to schedule them based on what we want,
I think we should, yes.
and I prefer to keep them the way they are.
That's what I like them to.
Easy on the move, that what we need to happen. The neighborhood, so I'll be there.
As long as they don't run a fast 8 o'clock.
But sometimes they could run late too. They don't run, but that no matter what.
I gotta go back to work tonight.
You've seen
Okay,
it.
so we need a motion to set the planning commission meeting calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 commission meeting calendar.
Second.
Oh, that's the second Wednesday at
Second
5:30.
Wednesday, 5:30. Change.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Sir, real quick, if I could get the same from the BZA,
Oh.
we keep theirs.
Yeah, I'll make them, well, you guys are gonna have to make the motion, cause I'm the president, so one of you two is gonna have.
You don't wanna hear my motion.
Go ahead.
I was gonna move that we start the meeting at 6:30. That's not gonna happen because the planning commission always runs till 7 or 7. I make the motion that
You can make it.
we keep we set it for 7, basically is what it was for, and many times it ran a little.
We'll just say immediately following.
Immediately following
There
the
we go.
planning commission.
That sounds good. You got a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay. That sounds fair, cause you know it's gonna run over.
Right.
Okay, on here it's listed public comment first and then board comments. So if you guys are good with that, that's how.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
leave.
I'm good.
Okay, we need a motion to open it for public
I'll
comment.
make a motion to open public comment.
I've got a motion from Mark. Do I have a second?
Second then.
Thank you, Christina. All those in favor?
I.
Okay, open the public comment. Oh, I hear some hands.
Go.
Hey,
Go first.
we'll start in the front, yeah.
Just to, with the discussion coming up on the, staying the solar moratorium. And then discussion of one more on the language itself, I would want to again extend the offer of floor of Mammoth, for the staff as well as in the new board members. To get a chance to dig deep, ask questions, see what is currently built and how it's operating. And I think happy to work with anybody's schedule to do that. If they're, I mean, if we're going to do a joint session and that can somehow be permitted, we can do it all together, but same with the council too. I'm happy to give anybody a tour of the facility that's out
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say, I've been on site visits. It's always good for members to be on site visits, go see the sites and understand what you're gonna approve and what you're not approving.
Yeah, I would encourage
Yeah.
everyone to take, I took
I
the
went out there too.
site with the
Yeah.
site visit with Chris here.
Chris.
and
Thank
It
you,
was
Chris.
very interesting, and
Yeah, it's
I
good
would
stuff.
encourage you to take a look at it, regardless how you vote, but it's still.
Yeah, I wanna see
It's
what.
worth looking at, so.
I
I
agree.
take it, I take a tour every day. Okay, so mine is, I believe, a housekeeping issue. When I come into the annex, I like to stop at different offices. I think as a councilman, that's a good thing to do. There's been a lot of bickering and a lot of fighting in this annex, and I don't understand why. But last fall, I walked into the planning commission and immediately after asking how things were going, Roberta and Gwen were attacked immediately. That's got to stop. We are public servants. The public doesn't want to hear that. I certainly don't want to as a councilman. I'm also a lifelong resident of this county and I don't want to hear it. I think everybody ought to think good thoughts and just get along, play well, share the ball.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Rebecca.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so
3
some
minutes.
of you expressed the interest in doing annual appointments for all of the planning department employees. Could you go into a little more detail as to why you prefer that, to do it every year? I mean, because most people get hired, they do get hired in a way where you're there until something goes wrong, and then obviously you guys have the authority to fire, but why the annual appointments? Can you go into a little more detail?
Why?
It's what, why?
To be fair, as your employee,
So I mean.
every fall,
That's what I'm saying.
do I have a job? Do I not have a job? It is.
I understand that, but.
No, I'm just consider that because basically what I'm hearing, you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that every year the planning employees are gonna be fired and then rehired in January.
I don't think we've actually ever removed, I don't think we've ever fired anybody.
Once, I think back in like 2020 top.
I was gonna say maybe once.
You gotta have.
I really believe that the possibility of losing your appointment, maybe you would consider doing a better job.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna
Accountable.
release somebody because they're doing a good job.
Well, I get it, but I mean, the planning commission changes folks and have different, everybody has different opinions. So I'm just saying, consider that because it's, not a good job to have when you don't know if you're gonna stay there for more than a year.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, else?
Yes, I need a little more explanation on this carbon capture. Cause I didn't know about it till somebody called me up and that's why I'm here at this meeting. And I just need some explanation on where's this carbon capture, where's this coming from? And what ground are we going to pump it in? Do you have any clue?
No.
Or just somebody approach you guys and say, yeah, well, hey, Stark County is a good place to dump carbon capture. Yeah, we'll be the dump site of America.
Well, I can tell you,
Can you explain a little bit?
I can tell you this, my phone rings 300 times a day.
I believe that.
I do not have anybody that's called me asking to do carbon capture here. That's just my opinion. Maybe somebody has.
Or you're just planning,
We're preparing.
like, kind of like we did for the data center.
Yes.
Right.
No, I think
That's a good idea.
I think the data center meeting just really showed what the public wanted. I think that was too bad we wouldn't have had maybe more of that when we started the solar.
To answer your question, we're trying to be proactive instead of
Not
reactive.
Yeah.
We want, that
Well, I
way,
think that data thing was a surprise for everybody.
it was a surprise for us.
Yeah.
That way you're informed, we're informed, and we stay on top of it.
Another question is on that moratorium for the data center. Why do we have to go to a moratorium? Why can't we just say we don't want it? You could do that. The council could say, we don't want it, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, there's some legalities to that.
Because other communities said, they did it, they said, we don't want it, and that was it, that was the end of it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what their legal advice is, but our legal advice was to take the proper channels.
And here's another thing, when you mentioned about this gentleman over here, about, you're saying that you should live in the county. Right, I mean, I know it's not in ordinance yet or anything, but there's two ways you can live out of the county or live in the county. Have to live in the county. So I think, and I'm just new to all of this, is our attorney should have from this county, not somebody from another, I don't know that attorney. We don't have
Interest from attorneys.
That's the problem. We struggle with it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can understand that sometimes.
Yeah, we wouldn't use him if he wasn't good at what he does.
Because I don't know, I don't know this gentleman, and I don't know if he might be working for the data center too. He could be,
Well, I don't think.
Well, he'd have to sign a conflict of interest there.
We don't even have.
well, we don't know that.
Well, this board did hire him and along with the BZA, and he would have to sign a waiver if he worked for anybody or was affiliated.
You don't think he's playing both sides?
No, he would go to jail for
Yeah, I
that.
don't believe that, no. You don't know that.
Um,
That was just a question. I mean,
Understood.
Mine's simple. Have an update on the battery storage ordinance. I know we're extending that moratorium back as well, right?
Yes, but I've not gotten a draft of
But
that
we
one,
still don't
only the
have a
solar.
draft on it.
But another good one.
So I guess that would have been my only question is if we still don't have a draft on that, should that have been extended more than 6 months?
Well, and I do wish that Nathan could have stayed the whole meeting to help go over some of these things. He could have given us a timeline,
Update on that.
but he'll be with us next week. I don't think there's any conflicts for him.
I mean, unless there's an objection, maybe I can ask Nathan for a timeline tomorrow and he can give me a couple proposed dates out and I'll email them to the
I
board
think that'd be
and make a
good.
public kind of notice with it.
Before 6 months goes quick, and if you guys still don't even have the ordinance in front of you to review, and I don't know, can the commissioners, let me back up, Mike, maybe you can answer this. So when those ordinances, once the moratorium, the public hearing happens to extend the moratorium, comes in front of you guys on the 21st, because I think you meet the 21st, because Monday's a holiday. When the commissioners meet, can you guys choose at that time to lengthen the moratorium, or are we stuck with 6 months? I'm just wondering proactively if, since you guys still don't even have the ordinance, if the commissioners can say, maybe we should extend the battery 12 months.
Yeah, I hate to speak for Nathan, but we did just get through the holidays. I know he had a lot going on and he was on vacation the week before the holidays. So maybe in the next week he'll have more information for us.
It would be the same as the data center. So if the commissioners decide that we want to do 12 months, then the commissioners would kick it back to us. We would change the wording to 12 months and then resubmit it to the commission.
Right, but we don't need another public hearing, or do you know?
That would be the best question. Yeah, that would be.
Attorney.
I'm just trying to be so that you guys aren't. sitting here
Right,
going,
so I would have to redraft it, present it to the plan commission, they would have to reapprove it and then send it up to, so it would extend, yes.
I just want to clarify that I have nothing against Nathan, but I think we should always try to hire in our community. We know our community. He brought like the word.
We had an attorney on here. He was a local guy, but he did not have enough knowledge in a lot of these
I
things.
understand that.
That's what.
Let's say qualified.
Yeah, well, that's a struggle.
Be our community if he's qualified.
We would do that, but it was a struggle. We
That's,
tried it.
I believe a hiring within.
We do too. Bruce, go ahead.
Well, I just want to tell John and Amber, you're very lucky to have people that are dedicated to this community. I know each and every one of them take their jobs very seriously. And I'm grouchy, I understand that, but I'm old. But I just think that you have super boards right now to work with. I think we're short a couple of BZAs. I know the council's got one to appoint, but it'd be exciting to see what happens in 26, because 25 was a real snorter.
Close public comment. I'll make a motion to close public comment.
We got a motion to close public comment from Mark. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Anything else from the board?
I don't have anything. Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion? How about a second?
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thanks,
You
everybody.
gotta close BZA.
Oh, I need a motion for,
How you doing?
You're not using that.
I need a motion to close the BZA.
I'd line that.
You wanna make that motion?
No, right.
Thank you. Sure.
This, we want to accept.
I know.